Fox has settled with Dominion for a massive amount of money. Fox was sued for like 1.4 billion. They settled for roughly half of it, $785 million, something like that. So we're going to talk about that and my thoughts on it a little bit. I'll tell you what, I guess my opinion of what Fox gets out of it, what Dominion gets out of it, because it is a settlement, so it is effectively a compromise. It's an insane settlement. Good on Dominion, I guess, for squeezing out all that money at Fox. Hopefully for Fox, this doesn't bury their news network into the dirt like it should. But, all right, here we go. Fox settles the Dominion lawsuit for $787.5 million over U.S. election lies. That's right. Fox News apparently lied about Dominion in 2020's election. Yeah, tons of lies about that. And, Dominion sued him. They sued him for it. Along with, they've also sued, I think, Lynn Wood and Sidney Watson and stuff like that. But Fox is the first case to be resolved. And this case has been unfolding in massive fashion recently. It's actually been kind of hard to keep up with because of all the shit that's happened. But Dominion effectively won this lawsuit a while back at summary judgment. So I know a lot of people are critical of Fox for settling this lawsuit, but if I'm not mistaken, effectively, the judge had already ruled the things that Fox had published as defamatory at summary judgment. And they were basically going into the damages phase in which Dominion was going to have Rupert Murdoch, Tucker Carlson, and other people deposed. And then they would be pushing for that 1.4 billion or more payout that they were looking for. Fox decided to settle it out rather than, leave that to a jury. Because imagine the jury you get. Not Sidney Watson. Sidney, what's her last name? The Kraken lady, not Sidney Watson. I'm sorry. Sidney Watson's way different. Sidney Powell. Thank you, Ryan, the editor. Sidney Powell, the drafter of some really not great lawsuits in 2020. Whew. Too many Sidneys. All of them are fake, right? Sidney Watson, fake because she's from Australia. Sydney, Australia, fake because it's in Australia. Sidney Powell, fake because it's kind of weird. She had that blank, vacant stare. Anyway, so several people have been sued by Dominion because the problem with this is I don't actually see where Dominion suffered the damage that they're claiming. I mean, they're talking about $1.4 billion in damages over this. We don't have any proof that Dominion itself has suffered damages. We didn't get to that phase of the trial. What we would have to show is that Dominion would have been monetarily impacted to the tune of $1.4 billion by maybe their voting machines not being used in the next election because of all the distrust. But as we've been told over and over and over again, not only was there was nothing wrong with the election in 2020. All of the counts were perfect. Not only that, but Dominion specifically was the most perfect, unassailable integrity of voting. I mean, we didn't audit the vote, but you have to understand that it couldn't have possibly gone wrong. Never could it have gone wrong. We didn't verify that it didn't because we didn't need to, because we knew that it didn't go wrong. It was the best election ever. And Dominion ensured that it was the best election ever. And so they sued Fox, and the judge basically gave Fox and Dominion an ultimatum, like, settle or we're gonna go into this. And the trial was about to start on the remaining portion. But like I said, Fox has pretty much already lost this case a while back. Let's read this. Fox Corp and Fox News on Tuesday settled a defamation lawsuit by Dominion Voting Systems for $787.5 million, averting a trial, putting one of the world's top media companies in the crosshairs over its coverage of false vote rigging claims in the 2020 U.S. election. Now, there's a very important factor here. Fox does not make an admission that their coverage had any falsity or lies in it at all in the settlement. Typically, as part of a settlement like this, you would expect some sort of Dominion to extract some sort of admission from Fox that they lied. And I don't think Dominion needed to do that here. I think Dominion winning will be spun as Fox lies by everybody else. Now, if this were NBC, right, and Dominion were a right-wing pollster of some sort, well, then this would be defended as NBC protects its integrity by settlement, right? Like, that's how this story would be sold if it was anyone other than Fox, CNN, anybody else, and especially if it was some company that was not Dominion, that was more right-leaning. The settlement would be framed as beneficial towards the media company. But since it's Fox Media, and it's Dominion Voting Systems, it's going to be framed in the other way. But Fox doesn't actually make an admission of wrongdoing. They don't retract any statements that they made in the settlement at all. They just pay out, roughly half of what Dominion was asking. Breck says Dominion held a press conference and said Fox lied and the settlement was proof. Right. Of course they did. It's in their interest to do so. It's in Dominion's interest to frame this as Fox admitting to the lie. It'll be in Fox's interest to say, no, we stood up for our anchors and we paid out rather than have them get deposed or something. To me, it rings hollow of Fox. Very, very hollow of Fox. But let's read on here. The settlement, which legal expert says was the largest struck by an American media company, was announced by two sides and the judge in the case at the 11th hour. But who was the seventh guest? The jury had been selected earlier in the day, and the trial poised for opening statements in Wilmington, Delaware. Dominion sought $1.6 billion in damages in the lawsuit filed in 2021. My bad. I said 1.4. It was 1.6. Oh shit! I've defamed Dominion now. God damn it. Dominion CEO John Poulos called the settlement historic. Quote, Fox has admitted to telling lies about Dominion that caused enormous damage to my company, our employees, and our customers, Poulos said in a statement. Truthful reporting in the media is essential to our democracy, Poulos said. There's something else in this equation. I don't know if he knows, but there's something else in this equation that is essential to our democracy, which we don't have, you fucking cuck. We have a democratic republic. We have a republic. We don't have a democracy. We have a fucking republic. The other thing is the integrity of the voting system is essential. And our press is right to criticize that integrity should not be subject to a defamation lawsuit, in my humblest opinion. At issue in the lawsuit was whether Fox was liable for airing the false claims that Denver-based Dominion's ballot counting machines were used to manipulate the presidential election in favor of Democrat Joe Biden over then President Donald Trump, a Republican. And of course, if you thought that Dominion was going to lose this lawsuit, then I don't know what system you had faith in the first place, but I would like some of whatever you had. It should have been thrown out, in my opinion, at least as far as Fox is concerned, because their commentators get to give opinions on things, and those opinions can be wrong. The question is, are they knowing falsehoods that cause damage to Dominion? Did they know? I mean, maybe they did. Maybe in Discovery, Dominion got a bunch of transcripts from like Sean Hannity saying, look, Dominion's a great American. We know that they didn't do anything wrong, but we're going to say it anyway. Maybe they did that. But I mean, this type of defamation lawsuit should be the actual highest bar possible. It should be the hardest one to win because it contains obviously a matter of the most public concern. Dominion is one of the most publicly, should be one of the most publicly talked about companies. That is a government contractor for the purposes of the election. They should almost be libel proof, in all honesty. There should be basically no way that you can defame Dominion. How can you defame that which is quintessentially government? If someone wants to say, I think Dominion cheated, like, why would we ever be able to stop them from having that opinion? I mean, it is a cornerstone of our ability to question of our rights, to the ability to question our government. And Dominion is acting on behalf of the government in a capacity that is typically held by government. Dominion is definitely a quasi-state actor here. They have to be. They're facilitating the vote. The vote would normally be the purview of the government. They have outsourced it to a third-party company, and that third-party company would then be subject to the same constitutional scrutiny that the government itself would, in theory. So why do they get this special treatment? I mean, I kind of understand why they get it, but conceptually they shouldn't. Right? Like they should not get this. It just bothers me because we're supposed to, like, this is supposed to be the highest order of protected speech. Criticizing the vote is the most American right we could possibly have. It is everything that the First Amendment was designed to protect, and not just for the news and not just for the individual speaker, but for everybody. Dominion gets, Dominion must be protected. Of course, Dominion must be protected, right? Because they're going to be facilitating the vote in 2024. Let's see. Tuesday's settlement spared Fox the peril of having some of its best-known figures called to the witness stand and subjected to potentially withering questioning, including executives such as Rupert Murdoch, the 92-year-old who serves as Fox Corp chairman, as well as on-air host Tucker Carlson, Sean Hannity, and Jeanine Pirro. I like Tucker. I never really liked Hannity that much. Do you guys like Hannity? He's a super boomer. Jeanine Pirro, Judge Jeanine, I don't know. Fox anchor Neil Cavuto broke into his news show Your World about 4:30 p.m. Eastern time to report the settlement. A statement by Fox was read on air. Quote, we are pleased to have reached a settlement of our dispute with Dominion Voting Systems. Oh, you're pleased to pay them $787 million. Sure you are. We acknowledge the court's rulings finding certain claims about Dominion to be false. This settlement reflects Fox's continued commitment to the highest journalistic standards. We're hopeful that our decision to resolve this dispute with Dominion amicably instead of the acrimony of a divisive trial allows the country to move forward from these issues. All right. I'm going to tell you what I think about that statement on Rumble. So pour out an art bag of Balmore and Lafroy. Spirits flow as the ones who get unemployed. So pour out a glass for the tea post on Twitter as we hear Lost Blaming tonight. From the white shores of Nan to the hills of Glenlivet, there's no one who explains the thought better than Nick. So pour out a glass for the ones who have passed to make the law